It was only once they were alone together that Michael began to sweat. His father had left at midnight, thanking the boys for the invitation and the girls for the entertainment. Ian had left for the next room, led off by the bustier of the two performers. And Carl, once he had finished counting out the $500 bills he had agreed to leave for Ian's seductress, he had stepped out into the hotel courtyard with a couple of cold ones to chat it up with the security guard, who, it turned out, was a fan. That left Michael and Natasha. Natasha, who was asking him now, "Where do you want me?" Michael scanned the room, then pointed. "Over there, on the floor, against that bare wall. And you'll need," he looked around again, your stockings and shoes." She pushed herself up off of the couch, then navigated her way through the maze of easels, shaking her head and chuckling to herself. "This has to be the strangest party I've ever done." Michael searched the room for a clean canvas as she pulled on the first of her stockings. "Only one should be all the way on," he said. "The right one. The pose will be you pulling on the left one." "Got it," she said. He set the last of the blank canvases on the easel he had been using all night. "Do Isis and I get to keep any of these?" she asked as she sat down. "To be honest," he said, "most of them are crap." "Not yours," she said. "Even mine aren't all that. You're too damn modest," she said. Michael blushed. "Okay," he said, getting back to business. "Lean back against the wall, keep your right leg flat on the floor, and lift your left leg up." She nodded, then did just as she was told. "Right," he said. "That's great. Keep your knee at about the same level as your chin, and keep your eyes focused on the stocking as you're pulling it down." "How far down?" she asked. "About mid-calf," he said. "And make sure you're using both hands to pull it down. But gently," he added quickly. "Slowly, I mean. You're not in a rush." She smiled. "You needn't be in a rush either, Mr. Silver. I can't leave until Isis is done in the other room. We got all night." "I don't know about that," he said. "This is only Ian's second time. They were probably done before she got his pants down." Natasha chuckled. "Sorry I seem so frazzled," he said. I just want to get this one right." "You apologize too much, too," she said. "Your soon-to-be-better half the cause of that?" "No," he said. "That'd probably be my sister." "Your sister, the stripper. That's the one," he said, beginning to sketch the line of Natasha's arched back. "She's been making me feel like I have something to apologize for since the day my parents brought her home from the hospital. And she's the reason this evening was about easels instead of dildos, right?" Michael nodded. "The guys insisted on a traditional bachelor party, but I've never been one to keep things traditional. And I mean, when your sister's in the profession. She the reason you're afraid to look at me, too?" Michael stopped sketching. "What do you mean?" "You haven't looked at me all night," she said, still holding the pose, still fixing her eyes on her stocking. "Not really. At least not since I took my clothes off. The sketches you've done have been great, but they've all been from memory." She paused for a moment, then sighed. "Haven't they?" Michael nodded. "This one's an Olivia de Berardinis, from an old trading card set of her best pinups." Michael set his pencil down and stared at his sneakers. "Pick up the pencil," said Natasha. "Isn't that the rule? That you never take your pencil up off the page?" He picked it back up. "How did you know? How did you know I was doing it from memory?" "I saw how nervous you were when you let your buddy Carl pick a pose early on, when he set up something you'd never seen before." "I don't think that pose had been seen by anyone on Earth before," said Michael. She laughed. "It was a pretty hard one to hold." Finally, for the first time that evening, he smiled. "Can I be honest?" he asked. "Absolutely," she said. "Lay it on me. I did take one semester of psych before dropping on." It's all about something my sister said to me once, or, well, something she said about me. And that was? She said that I'd never been able to say no to a pretty girl in my life. Wow, said Natasha matter-of-factly. That's harsh. It's also true, said Michael, and it makes me worry. Looking at another girl isn't a crime, Michael. Neither is thinking about one. But acting on those thoughts, he said, spinning the canvas around for her to see, acting on those thoughts is a crime, the worst crime, isn't it? She lowered her leg and turned toward him. Have you ever done that? She asked. Do you have any real reason to be worried? Michael nodded. Kinda, he said. Yes.